Few newborns came into this world with more fanfare than Elizabeth Carr. The first baby born in the U.S. via in vitro fertilization, December 28, 1981, a modern medical miracle.
The press conference announcing, that we have a normal, healthy baby girl was completely packed.
Elizabeth, who recently moved to New Hampshire, was conceived in a petri dish 40 years ago and has lived under a microscope ever since.
Everyone's going to be interested in this.
Everybody's going to want to know who we are.
Elizabeth's parents, Judy and Roger Carr, had no idea they'd become pioneers. They were simply a young married couple eager to start a family.
My mother could get pregnant. She could not stay pregnant. She kept having what is called an ectopic pregnancy.
Her mother suffered 3 miscarriages, and because of complications, she could no longer conceive naturally. She was referred to Doctors Howard and Georgiana Jones, fertility specialists who founded the first IVF clinic in the country in Norfolk, Virginia.
Actually, IVF was illegal in Massachusetts where my parents were living, and so they had to travel down to Virginia to even be screened for this program.
In vitro fertilization had been successful in England. 3 years earlier, Louise Brown became the world's first IVF baby. But the fledgling procedure had yet to be tested in the U.S. The Carrs were part of a pilot program.
My parents had no idea if it was going to be them to be the first or somebody else. When they found out they were the first, they were gobsmacked. They had no clue.
Doctors kept Mom up until the birth, protecting the Carrs from protesters who considered IVF unnatural and immoral, and from the media, hungry to put a face to the scientific breakthrough.
There was a code word in order to get into the wing of the hospital where my mother was, and there were actually armed guards outside of her hospital room.
The Carrs could have remained anonymous, but chose to go public after Elizabeth was born, hoping to help others grappling with infertility.
My parents felt very strongly they needed to share that this was something that was an option that was potentially successful for people, because they themselves had felt completely hopeless.
The family was thrust into the spotlight, beginning in the delivery room. A PBS film crew documented the entire birth.
My father tells the story of he had his own, what he called, prop man. And what he meant by that was it was so packed and so hot in that delivery room that it was one person's job on the crew to make sure that if he passed out, they pushed him back up for on camera.
Elizabeth's birth was touted on front pages and nightly newscasts all over the world. She made her debut at just 3 days old, her first press conference of many.
Basically I came out with my parents and fell asleep to the sound of the power winders on the old film cameras. It was that crazy and that loud.
At 2, she graced the cover of Life magazine.
My mother simultaneously loves and hates that photo on the cover of the Life magazine because she tells the story that I was dressed in the cutest dress that she had specifically bought for this occasion, and the first thing that the camera guy did was strip me down naked and plop me on the lab bench and just gave me a petri dish to play with, and that was the shot.
Never mind that catchy headline, Test Tube Baby.
Hate that term. Hate it with a passion. That term, first of all, it's inaccurate. The journalist in me is like, it's wildly inaccurate because there are no test tubes used in the procedure. So that's strike number 1. Strike number 2 is that it's actually just a slang term that a journalist happened to come up with back in the 80s, and it just stuck.
In the years that followed, Elizabeth would be paraded in front of the camera for every milestone event.
There was the homecoming crew, there was the prom crew, and then when I graduated from high school, that was another big deal.
Her baptismal gown is on display at the Smithsonian. She addressed the United Nations at age 19, and she's even a question on the TV game show Jeopardy!
You go through these stages where you just want to be a normal kid.
She ended up becoming a journalist, asking the questions instead of answering them. Spent 15 years at the Boston Globe. Married and had a son who she conceived naturally. Her mom still lives in Massachusetts. Her father passed away in 2021. New Hampshire is now home. Elizabeth drawn to the natural landscape of the Monadnock region, where she lives with her son Trevor, now 11, and her second husband.
We have all these covered bridges. Our house is right near a rail trail. You know, we have obviously Monadnock not too far away. So for us, it was really, you know, we have this active lifestyle, and that was really appealing to us.
She wrote a book, Under the Microscope, primarily to explain IVF to her son.
I wanted him to really understand what that meant and what his grandparents went through.
Her days are now filled advocating for fertility rights. It's no longer access. 8 million babies worldwide have been born through IVF. It's affordability. Elizabeth is pushing states to mandate insurance coverage for treatments.
It's kind of my way of giving back. You know, from a very young age, I was very aware that a lot of people worked really hard to get me here.
The woman who's lived her life under a microscope, now magnifying the work of others.